Hunter x Hunter has been on my radar for numerous years, but for some reason now I've decided to give it a watch. Personally, the opinions I've encountered are either people are meh, or they absolutely love the series, so I have no idea what to expect. I do, however, know that the story is not complete, and from what I can gather, it likely never will, which I begrudgingly accept. It is what it is. Oh, and another thing, I'm just going to give people a heads up. I'm going to be mispronouncing all the character names because I even pronounce Hunter x Hunter as Hunter x Hunter. So now I have to work around that, but nevertheless, just a heads up. The first thing I took note of was that the cast of characters didn't initially impress me. Gon, as of now, is your typical happy-go-lucky, positive shonen protagonist. However, his motive being to find out why his father left him to be a hunter is tragic. I haven't met this character yet, but I despise him. Anybody who abandons their children for a self-centered goal has little to no respect from me. He indirectly affected Gon's life trajectory. In pursuit to become a hunter, he trains and risks his life numerous times during the exam. All of this could have simply been avoided with a postcard. This poor child just wants to find out why he was abandoned, and this is the only way he's gonna find out. Tangent aside, Leorio again initially didn't spark my interest. His motive of money and power is rather generic. However, thankfully it's later revealed the deeper motive behind this is to, in spirit, avenge a death of a friend who died to a curable disease, and which he couldn't afford to cure, in turn inspiring him to become a doctor. Anyway, Leorio is the loud, rash member of the group, brings the most energy on screen, and in that regard, I feel like he has a sense of relatability. While he is the weakest member of the group, he in a sense represents the everyman. I mean literally, he wears a business suit. He often gets paired up with, I can't pronounce his name, the blonde-haired kid. I'd say he's my least favorite character so far. He's not horrible, but he isn't anything to write home about either. He falls under the same anime cliche of being the character who explains the aha moments in a fight. His backstory is pretty serviceable though, avenging his clan from a crime organization who's stolen their elusive scarlet red eyes. It kinda sounds like Sasuke, though in all fairness I believe Hunter x Hunter came out first. Either way, this is not what I primarily want to discuss. Coming in, I thought the Hunter exams was going to be your generic anime tournament structure on who's the strongest. However, thankfully, I was pleasantly surprised. A lot of these challenges are extremely creative. I especially enjoy the running challenge, the first phase. It's simple, don't lose the pack. The catch is you don't know how long the run will be. So not only is it a physical test, it's also a psychological one as well. It kind of reminds me of Stephen King's The Long Walk. Heck, with one of its phases, it even pulled off the Hunger Games concept well before the books even came out. Instead of killing, the goal being to steal your opponent's tag number. The Hunter exams truly subverted my expectations at every turn. The highlight of this arc was meeting with the antagonist, and I'm gonna mispronounce his name, I am so sorry, but when I tried to look up a pronunciation for his name, I actually got spoiled. So yeah, I'm not looking into that anymore, so let's just try to pronounce this. Actually, no, I'm not gonna pronounce his name. How about let's just call him the Magician Man? Nah, let's call him Magic Man. So Magic Man, his introduction was absolutely perfect. The mere act of someone bumping into him rudely was enough to justify a murder. Right off the bat, you know he's a psychopath through his monotone and eerie voice. The theme that the Hunter exams and perhaps this entire series really expresses is that morality is gray. I referred to Magic Man as a villain, but is he really though? Ironically, he actually helps out Gon and the group numerous times. In fact, without him, they wouldn't have ultimately passed the exams. This all stems around his odd sense of justice. He doesn't assist or spare Gon due to his empathy or humility. He merely wants to see him develop into a stronger individual to then eventually kill him. As he disturbingly puts it, he wants to see the fruit ripen. The thrill he gets out of this idea is extremely creepy. His downright lust for murder actually made me quite uncomfortable, and I emphasized the lust part. His behavior is truly remarkable. Just like the exams themselves, he's unpredictable. And this quote-unquote sense of justice is common among a lot of psychotic individuals. In Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter is a deplorable person. However, he ultimately plays a key role in helping the protagonist hunt down a serial killer. Again, not out of the goodness of his heart, but due to the fact that she reminds him of his sister. In short, the sense of justice is not based on normal logic. Furthermore, going back to the morally gray characters, I saved mentioning Killua up until this point for that very reason. He's initially set up to be the laid-back, cocky kid with a lot of potential. In fact, out of the entire group, he's the most powerful, even over Gon, which I do like. That's not something I typically see in a lot of shonen stories. Oftentimes, that top spot is geared towards the main protagonist, Dragon Ball. Anyway, at one point before the 4th phase, Killua decides to murder 2 other contestants because he bumped into them and the others escalated the situation. It's exactly like Magic Man's incident, only the complete opposite. And the weird thing is, I don't understand why he wasn't reprimanded. During an exam phase, sure, that's fair game, but this act was committed during a downtime in between phases. Did no one notice the dead bodies on the ship? If allowed, couldn't one take it upon themselves to murder the competition to make the whole thing easier for themselves in the long run? I don't know, perhaps I'm looking a little bit too deep into this, but the point still stands. Killua was literally no different than Magic Man. In fact, he's arguably worse, because in that case, he at least didn't rudely start a conflict. Ironically, Killua did the very thing that Magic Man despised. With all this in mind, he set up to be a comrade of Gon. And personally, I'm conflicted. On one hand, this nice, happy-go-lucky vibe between the two, and then on the other hand, he has a vicious side to him, where you can visually see his expression change. It left me feeling conflicted. However, in saying that, I'm complimenting the story. Towards the end of it all, only then does the Hunter exam's final phase become a tournament style. A few catches though. 1. The way the bracket was created leans in favor of certain opponents via their performance and how they answer the interview questions right beforehand. 2nd, out of the remaining participants, only one person will be eliminated. Once you win at least one match, you pass. Whoever is last left fails. 3rd, in order to win a match, the opponent must verbally declare defeat or surrender. No ring-outs, no knockouts will suffice. In fact, killing your opponent automatically disqualifies you, ironically in turn helping out the other contestants due to, as mentioned before, only needing one person to fail. I'll touch upon that later. The last point plays a role in Gon's victory, refusing to surrender, escalating his opponent to breaking his arm, though in turn leading him to collapse. And oddly enough, the rest of the tournament is only told through flashback when Gon wakes up and is told how the tournament went down. I much prefer this because it speeds up the pace of the story in a beneficial manner. I was pretty surprised that Killua was the only one who didn't pass, though this was only due to a disqualification after he murdered a contestant, a person who he wasn't even versing in the first place. And the odd thing is, I still don't know what triggered it. It's debated whether Killua's older brother is responsible by hypnotizing him. Oh, and yes, one of the other contestants was revealed to be his brother. That was a good turn of events. I was not anticipating that. But either way, it's left up in the air of what caused this. The thing is, I don't know why Gon is going to his aid in defense. I mean, he just murdered somebody, for no good or valid reason, may I add. Why does he get a pass for that? I shouldn't have to say this, but I'd argue it's safe to say murder is typically an immoral act to commit. So you would presume Gon, who is happy-go-lucky, positive, he's the complete opposite of immoral. Why doesn't this at least question his friendship? Instead, it ironically strengthens it. Nevertheless, all three, after passing, vow to search for Killua. Though, as the arc ends, it's revealed that technically the exam isn't over. Though I'm not sure if this is a metaphorical way of looking at it, like, even though the Hunter exam is over, the journey and test truly never does, that sort of spiel. Or maybe the fact is that it actually isn't over, I'm not too sure. But either way, it's a nice cliffhanger to wrap things up on. Overall, I enjoyed my time watching Hunter x Hunter. Though, I'll be honest, I'm hooked, but I'm not hooked. This isn't something I'd be vehemently recommending people to watch. I wouldn't be getting a tattoo, or t-shirts, merchandise. That's just not something I would express to the world that I enjoy Hunter x Hunter. It's good, but it's not great. However, it was good enough for me to keep watching. Also, keep this in mind. Typically, I see that the first arcs aren't the best of what's to come. Dragon Ball, JoJo's first part, and to be honest, I didn't really like Naruto's first arc whatsoever. So, I'm gonna have to sit and wait. A lot of series are slow burners. If you've liked what you've seen, feel free to join along for the upcoming Hunter x Hunter arcs I will be discussing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I am boiling hot in my room and currently not wearing anything but my underwear, and I need to take a shower, so yes, and I cannot have the AC on because it would interfere with the recording, so yes, I've been dying in this room, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten a heat stroke. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I much appreciate it.